Spurs News Podcast, your home for all things Tottenham Hotspur. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the Spurs News Podcast, Down Under. Well, we're all down under at the moment. Well, not really down under, more on top, actually. Hello everyone, welcome to another week of Tottenham being top of the league. I am Sam, joining me to discuss the joy, it's Matt.
Hey mate, Arsenal are down under us at the moment, aren't they? So we could enjoy that.
We're going to enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, why not?
It's all fun. Yeah, they're currently joint second. God. Oh, the laughs, the laughs. Just the funny thing is like we're enjoying it because we've been so, what's the word, anti-football for a few years. Like Jose was very anti-football. Nuno was, hang on.
We don't talk about Cardinal sin, Sam. Cardinal sin.
Sorry. I said you should not be named. And of course, Conte was Conte. It rhymed with Conte. Anyway, so it's kind of crazy now that we're playing football again. We're being offensive. The team are connected with the fans again. It's a squad that are young, hungry again, and we're going in the right direction again. And we're all just enjoying that. And that seems to be pissing people off.
Yeah, very much so.
And it's very fun. It is a lot of fun. And I did see yesterday, and I shared it to our group chat because it did make me laugh. Paddy Power have done one of their little promotional things. And it was basically Tottenham fans are experiencing something they've not experienced in quite some time. We've done some research and we're calling it happiness. And apparently it's all down to having a manager who's not hating everyone, the club, his job, the players. I'm having a very good time. We are top of the league. Did I mention that, Matt? I don't know if I mentioned we're top of the league.
As many times as you want, mate.
Yeah, top of the league after 9 games, and not just sort of, everyone's going. We're like points clear. That's so funny to me.
And do you know what? It's not like we've been top of the league under Conte and top of the league under Mourinho.
Yeah.
But it always felt like a false position. I feel like we deserve to be top of the league.
Yeah. I mean, we're unbeaten, which is again, just a crazy thing. But yeah, so top of the league. Not sure if anyone listening was aware. If you weren't aware, the Premier League table currently has Tottenham as first. That's what that means.
Do you know what I love as well, Sam? Sorry, I know you love Twitter and you spend a bit of time on Twitter. It's your go-to social media. I think I said before. You get some people that just you can't please some people, and even that kind of analogy of they'll win the lottery and they'll complain that they've got that it's got
the tax bill.
It's got to be sent over by cheque. Like, you guys? There was someone complaining that on the official Premier League table they've put us to Spurs, and it's like, no, it's Tottenham Hotspur.
I saw that.
Just enjoy being top. Stop trying to pick the bones out of everything.
Yeah, I do find some stuff that people get annoyed about quite funny. But one thing I will say about Twitter, which is something that's changed under the illustrious Elon Musk,
including the name,
asshole, including the name. But I'm just refusing to do that. The thing that is kind of weird now is obviously anyone can be verified. Anyone can have a blue tick. Now, that's what it is, and loads of people have them now, and good luck to them, and they pay for that, and okay, fair enough. But the thing is you can earn money now based on your interactions. So whereas in the past I'd think, God, there are some idiots on Twitter saying some of these opinions. Now I realise when there's a blue tick, they're doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
Because if you come out with some absolute outrageous crap and you get 1,000 people calling you a moron for it, cha-ching. So
a rich moron.
Sometimes it's a bit goading, because there are a few times I've been like, what a dumb oh, I see. Okay, right, I'm leaving you alone. You're basically TalkSport, but for Twitter. And Talksport has a Twitter. Just listen to Darren Bent speak. It's enough to drive you insane.
Yeah, I know he's a gooner,
That
but you forget, did he ever play for Spurs? I know he's an Arsenal fan. I appreciate that, but
No, I don't think he did. I remember there was a time we signed him, but I'm pretty confident a woman called Sandra Redknapp started up front instead and was
she's
better.
better than him. Yeah.
That's how I remember it. It's definitely how I remember it. So we did beat Fulham 2-0. Now that is news in itself. The bigger news is I'm going to share something with all the Tottenham fans now and the fans of our podcast, because this is something that's been stressing me out this season. Matt, you are a season ticket holder with Seb. Very proud of that, and I love that, you guys. And you've not been able to attend a game yet this season.
Unfortunately not.
And my for lots of different reasons and all valid reasons. And as the season was going and we were doing very well, I was becoming more and more concerned that when you did attend, we were going to lose, and then me and you would have to have this conversation of, Matt, for the good of everyone, you're going to have to give up your season ticket, and it would be a bad conversation. So I was dreading it. It was in my stomach. I was terrified. And the last time you and Seb attended a home game, obviously the atmosphere was very different to what it is this season. So you went. Do you know what? Funny enough, it wasn't our best performance with the ball, which Ange said himself, but the pressing and the work rate of this team, even though they weren't as great on the ball as they have been, they were still able to win the game and to be honest with you, win it quite well. And I mean, yeah, so Matt, I'm going to hand this to you now because this was your first home game of this season and you messaged me straight away to say, wow, like this is a whole different place. So go on and Matt, lay it on us. How did it feel?
So the only way I could really describe it is, do you remember as a 16, 17-year-old and falling in or having a real crush on somebody and like that kind of feeling of love? And
Yeah,
that's what I was getting. I felt like a soppy 17-year-old. So we get to the stadium, me and Seb, and we get there
yeah,
about 7:15, and we like to go down and see the players warm up. So we've
yeah,
gone down there. It looks completely different, obviously, to last time we was there. In terms of the players warming up, it's massively changed, isn't it? I mean, I know there's still a lot, and he hadn't made it's not like he did a Nottingham Forest, but it just feels like it's a different team. So
yeah,
we get there, watch them for a bit, and then sit in our seats. And I always, I don't know, and I don't know if you may know more about than me, but I don't know who decides on what music's played. I always used to think it was the manager because I remember when Conte came in, it was different. The music felt different and everything.
yeah.
So I don't know if this is something that Andrew's brought in, but it just had like a bit of a party atmosphere to it. So they were playing
The
some,
the club has a DJ,
yeah,
basically someone who's in charge of it, and I have now found the gentleman who is the DJ on Twitter
okay,
because before the game started, I saw him do a little tweet to show he was lining up islands in the stream
right, okay,
for after.
right. I'll
Yeah,
bear that in mind for later. Right. So yeah, so
yeah,
he's playing some good like proper dance music,
yeah,
and you just start getting you're building up the expectation and the atmosphere feels good. Everyone,
yeah,
it just felt like a really good atmosphere. Kick off, like you said, pressing from the start, wanting the ball, playing football. Honestly, the
yeah,
amount of games that me and Seb went to last season where the first 15, 20 minutes we're like, we could be 2-0 down by half time, or 2-0
yeah,
through down. But no, there's no way that's happening here.
yeah,
Obviously, we go 1-0 up, and I'm just standing there thinking, the love's coming back. The love is really
yeah.
coming back. I'm feeling that. Something you talk about quite a lot, that connect between the fans.
Connection,
Yeah,
yeah,
really getting that. Really getting that. Second half, it's bizarre because I know we didn't play particularly well, but
no,
it's funny how the brain works. My brain I didn't come away from that second half thinking, blimey, we were lucky there.
no,
I know they started to play a bit more, but I felt like the reason why they were playing a bit more Fulham is because they had to, because they were
yeah,
1-0 down. So like you got to start playing, like that, and so it created a better game, because at the first half it felt like I kept saying the first half it felt like we needed Basuma in the team because Basuma's really good at picking passes in really tight knit.
yeah,
And it's what we needed, and we really missed Basuma, I think, especially the first half. But yeah,
yeah,
second goal goes in, dart celebration. I don't know if you picked it up on the TV, but him and Sonny were like ready to throw the dart, and they were looking up at us. If
Yeah.
you look at the picture of Madison, he's looking up at us because he's like, "You
Yeah.
ready, guys? We're gonna do this in sync." So we're like, "Oh!" And as they throw the dart,
Yeah.
17,500 fans cheer at once.
Whee!
Yeah,
Yeah.
just insane. Final whistle, just like the amount of
Yeah.
time. Even when we were winning, right? Even when Spurs won a game, me and Seb were still like, should we disappear now? Like, 2 or 3 minutes before the final whistle, avoid all the crowds coming out.
Yeah.
I stood there, final whistle. I couldn't go. I just was standing there.
Wow.
I just was in love, Sam, with the team again. The fuzzy feeling was really there. And Seb was the same. Seb was standing there, and I don't know if it picks it up. If it picks it up, obviously, you said about Islands in the Stream, like they come
Yeah.
on, and we was all singing, and then the Robbie Williams song come on.
Yeah.
We're all singing, and looking behind me, most of us are still there. Like no
Yeah.
one was
Yeah.
emptying,
You see
and it
it.
wasn't like
Wow.
people were standing there as they were waiting to move. People were literally rooted to the spot because they didn't want to go, and I didn't want to
No.
go either. I didn't want to go, and I paid the price because we didn't get to didn't even get inside White Hart Lane Station to almost 11 o'clock at night. So that told you how long it took us just to
Oh,
get to the
wow.
station,
Yeah.
right? And that's the problem when you stay late. But it was one of those things where you're like, I don't care.
No.
The love has come flooding back, and I know you're going to kill me for saying this, and everyone listening is going to kill me, but I just turned to the guy behind me and I was like, I think we're gonna do it. Well,
I love it. Mate, we're not going to, but we could.
I feel like we're gonna do it. I feel like there's something special, really special happening. And look, well, I'm 44. I've been a Spurs fan long
Yeah.
enough to know that it's probably going to come crashing down at any moment. But right
Yeah.
now,
Friday.
everything just feels like it's aligning, and it's like
Yeah.
we're playing brilliant. For me, this is for me, right, where I think it's gonna either or carry on or crash injuries, right? Because
Yeah.
that last 15 minutes when he bought those when he made those substitutions,
Yeah.
everything just went pear-shaped, you know.
Well, it became very
Yeah,
disjointed. Yeah. I mean, it's the thing that what has happened so far is he makes a change, two changes, and it kind of slots in, and they kind of come in and do their jobs, and it's worked quite well. When you make the wholesale change, which is when you look at that, I think I put it was like 6 of our first team then weren't on the pitch,
mm,
and that's huge. That is literally the B squad again, and it was the B squad against Fulham that's lost our only game this season, albeit on
yeah, of
penalties.
course.
So, it yeah, I mean you gotta have squad, and then you gotta have squad options, and ideally those players come in and out in one or twos. You know what I mean? And then it's not a wholesale kind of change. I think he looked at it and was like, we're playing again on Friday. This team don't stop. They press like mad, which is what he wants. So let's cotton wool for Sonny, cotton wool for
And
Richie and
Madison, yeah.
Madison, and then we go again on Friday. I mean that's to my mind the only thing I could think of. And something that happened though when all those changes, because like Emerson Royal was on the left, and he's predominantly right-footed, so he struggled a little bit with that. But he put in a shift, and there was a moment where he made a block, and Pedro Porro celebrated it like we'd scored.
Yeah, yeah,
And to me, that really summed up this new kind of spirit, this new kind of philosophy, this new team ethic we have here now, which is they're all in it together. They're all pulling in the same direction. It doesn't matter who's on the bench, who's in the starting 11. Someone comes on and does something. They're all with each other. I do just want a circle for special praise as well. Vicario. I've mentioned Vicario before, because I've been impressed with him since we signed him, and he's a player I hadn't heard of when we were linked. I did some reading, and everything read very, very well. Everything was very positive about the attributes for a goalkeeper that we would need. His arrival interview and stuff when we signed him, I thought he sounded excellent, spoke very well, spoke very good English, which of course helps when moving to England. But in the pre-season, you could see that he was playing this system that Ange wanted, basically as a sweeper, where we play a high line. And so a lot of people got it in their heads like, oh, this is going to be a nightmare. He's a calamity waiting to happen. And we played our first game of the season, drew 2-2, and people seemed to hold him at fault for the goals, which I found very odd at the time. But since then, everyone's shut their mouths about it and they're all praising him. But I just want to circle him because one of the things that we struggled with last season, and again, just want to caveat this with Hugo Lloris was a phenomenal goalkeeper for us for a long time. Um, but his level definitely dipped last year. The year before you could debate it, last year definitely dipped for me. Vicario's right up there, and the save he made, there were a couple of saves he made in that Fulham game, but one of them in particular in the first half, I mean, you listen to the commentary, they were saying goal, and he saved it. Like, people watching were just like, oh, that's in. Oh, wow. He saved it. It was an absolute brilliant header. And yeah, so Vicario for me, in addition to all the other great players we got there, he has been a phenomenal signing.
Yeah, we that was the 11th minute, and that was obviously
Yeah,
in front of us, like in the south stand.
yeah.
And I just remember when he saved it, we all sort of looked at each other, and the first
Mm.
words that came out of my mouth was, "He had no right to save that."
No,
Like, had
no,
no
no. He
right to
just
save it. Like, you
yeah,
watch it, you watching it there in real time, and you're just thinking goal, and then his hand appears out
yeah,
of nowhere.
yeah.
It was
Strong as hell as well.
insane save. Like, it was one of those ones where we all sort of had our hands on our head, just looking at each other like, How did he save that?"
How? Yeah, yeah.
So,
It was phenomenal because it felt like it was past him,
yeah,
because that thing flew. And you almost there was like a look on a Fulham player of like, wow, okay, fair play.
yeah,
Because when I connected with that, I was thinking goal. But again, the things I love about that is he'd made that save, and immediately you saw Romero get in his face like, yes, sort of like, yes, keeper.
mm,
Van der Ven and Romero. We were blessed with Toby and Jan. Like, we as a fan base for a few years saw those two in their prime, and it was special. And I feel I'm watching Romero and Van der Ven as a partnership, and I feel that again. I feel it is
yeah.
special.
I would argue, and obviously there's a bias. I would argue that they are probably the best centre back pairing in the Premier League right now. I don't think there's a better centre back
Um,
pairing.
I, I don't know. I mean, I think there are as a pair possibly. I think there are some very good centre backs in the Premier League, but yeah, I mean, Tottenham tinted glasses,
Yeah,
and we're top of the
yeah,
league,
no,
so
yeah. Look, I appreciate I appreciate this bias, but two things I would definitely say is that with Romero, I mean, best football player that's blessed the sport in the last 20 years has said he's the best centre back in
yeah,
the world. So and he's not
yeah,
a Spurs fan, is he? Like Mickey van der Ven, very young, and I'll make the point again that he's exactly to the day, well, not to the day now, but on the April 19th he was half my age, right? Which scares the life out of
Oh,
me.
it's a dark
Right,
day.
it
It's a
was a
dark
dark day.
day.
My 44th birthday was a dark day, but like his pace for the size of him, like you get like I
Yeah,
didn't. This is these. It's one of those things where when you watch it on telly, it's
yeah,
brilliant. But when you see these players in real life, you get a real
yeah,
sense, a real life sense of it. And there was a moment in, I think it was the first half, when I think they played over the top, and he
mm,
sort of chased the guy down, and his pace is insane. Like, I'm like,
it
this
is.
guy's 6'4", 6'5". He's a lump, and
Yeah,
he's Carl Walker speed. It's so
it is
fast.
impressive. It is
And
ridiculous.
another thing I would say as well with Romero, and again, it's something that I feel like I get a real sense of when I'm there watching it. This is my theory with Romero now. I've decided, right?
Okay.
You're a big fan of this genre. Um, Oh, the blue pill, red pill film, the films escape me.
Oh,
Matrix,
Matrix.
yeah.
Yeah,
When he finally gets it and he sees bullet
yeah,
time, right? That's how
yeah,
Romero sees life, yeah.
yeah,
That's why he's
yeah,
so cool, calm, and collected, because he is seeing things in slow motion. There's no other explanation for it. It,
yeah,
no one is allowed to be that calm and see things in such a calm way. Like, sometimes he's got the back to, he's facing us, so he's got his back to play. He's got the ball, and he'll pick a pass, and he's
Yeah,
surrounded by 4 or 5 different opposition players, and he calmly picks a pass to their feet. How does he do that? There's
yeah,
no right. He has no right to do that, and you
yeah.
watch it and you think, how is he? How is he so, like? How is someone so? And I think the problem is last season. And again, I know you don't, and this is not. I know you don't like me criticising players, and I'm not saying it to criticise, but it's just to make a point. He was he was being paired with players that the ability probably wasn't where it should be, and now he's paired with Van der Ven. It's bringing the best out of him as well,
Yeah,
because
I would also add to that, and I think it's worth keeping in mind. Yeah, players and levels. I mean, that can be debated, and I think Van der Ven's shown a level up definitely, but also tactically. So the team now Romero knows where everyone's going to be because you look at them, you can see that they know how the system works. When someone has the ball here, I'm here. I make myself available. I move here. I do this. I do this. We are playing it this way. This is how we play. And it's almost like you say, like he's instinctively, he knows, right, okay, the fullbacks are going to form a square, they're going to invert, so I'm here, I know if I play it there, that's where Porro's going to be. I know if I play it there, that's where Van der Ven's going to be. And they have this kind of well drilled, almost sort of ability now where it's like, I know what we're doing. And there's a few times teams press and we lose the ball and stuff, but you can see that the way that we're playing doesn't change. It's like, this is what we're going to do. Every now and again, the opposition are going to do well, but we're going to accept that they've done well and we're going to keep playing our way.
yeah, of course,
And Romero just exemplifies that. You're right, he does. And one of the things that, again, happened during the international break, which I think for a lot of Tottenham fans would be a shock. You think about him last year and going into that World Cup and he was injured. And there was all that stuff written about you know, the Argentina players country over club and it's fine and but we as a club find that difficult. We want our best players to be playing for us and there was all this stuff about it's what happens, they fake an injury and off they go and all this stuff that was written and it did feel a little bit kind of negative and stuff and he went off and he won the World Cup, which is great, and he came back and he was like I'm dedicated to Tottenham, etc., but the club weren't doing very well. He's been made vice captain now, and you can see that has almost lifted him in the club. Like, I want to win stuff here. Like I've gone and won the World Cup in my country, and I like being at Tottenham. I want to win stuff here at Tottenham. And in the summer, he said he had offers to leave and he wasn't interested. And now he goes on an international break, plays an important game for his country, wins that game, and then tells his manager that he's got a bit of muscle fatigue, so he isn't playing the full game next time because he has an important game for Spurs when he gets back. What a
yeah,
difference. And that I think now shows that he and everyone there are completely bought into this and feel themselves that okay, this is special. This is going the right way. I need to be on it. I need to be at my best. And the manager as well also talked about training, and he was talking about the best people in training are consistently those that aren't necessarily getting all the game time. They're not getting starts. And he said, but what it's doing, and the reason why I'm so impressed by these professionals is because everyone is being kept honest. He said there's not one person who's in that first 11 who feels safe because the other players in that squad every day in training are stepping up. And he's like, this is a squad game, this is a squad, this is everyone here. And everyone seems to be pulling the right. Of course, it's very easy to be that way when you're winning. It's very easy. Top of the league right now, 9 games unbeaten in the Premier League. Everyone can feel that. It's amazing how quickly that shit can turn if you get a couple of bad results.
yeah,
But
exactly.
right now, all good.
Do you know I've got to mention Captain Sonny as well, mate. Is
Yeah.
do you know this is in the first half? So because again, it's positive. Like, things really going well at the moment. Richarlison, I just think there's something not right with his confidence or something.
Okay.
But there was about 3 or 4 times when he was playing on the left, wasn't he? And Sonny was playing in the middle, and
Yeah.
I was like, surely they should swap. I mean, I'm just someone sitting in the stands. I'm not the manager, or I don't see.
Yeah,
But for me, it felt like it made more sense, because Richarlison was really struggling to cut in. His crosses weren't reach, whereas Richarlison in the middle with his pigeon neck heading. And
yeah,
then about 5 minutes later, Richarlison on the left passes into Sonny. Sonny scores it from the middle.
yeah, yeah,
But it's insane, isn't it? You talk about how Romero's changed since he's been given the responsibility of vice captain.
yeah,
Sonny is, I think a lot of where I mean, obviously, the majority of the credit goes to Postecoglou for what he's done, and
yeah.
he gave, it's also he gives Sonny this responsibility as well. But
He did, yeah,
since Sonny has become captain, I think that's revolution. Like I want. So you was talking earlier about the team spirit with Pedro Porro. You
yeah,
look. This is something I wanted to mention. When we score, or when something like that happens, it's the
yeah,
players that are reacting, and Postecoglou, Angel stick a fist in the air, but there's not much more than that.
yeah,
Under Conte, it was almost like, we had the Conte cam. It was like
yeah. I
that was
remember.
the
Yeah,
person, that was the ego, that was the personality, that's what it was all about. Whereas
yeah,
Ange just shifted it, hasn't he? It's not about me.
yeah,
I don't want Ange cam or anything. It's about the
yeah.
players, and I feel like that's a dynamic that's changed, and for the better for the squad, definitely.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. So we're going to move on to the fan questions in a second. I just very quickly before we do that, I just want to mention one thing. So I know there's a lot of people out there who've got a real strong opinion of Eric Dyer and stuff like that, and that's fine. But there was a little sad thing that happened this week for me, anyway. Personally, it sort of depressed me a bit, and that was they do a thing of everyone arriving at the ground back from international duty, and they were filming the players coming in, and Eric Dyer comes in, and you hear him say to the guys with the cameras, "Oh, don't worry about filming me. Like, you're not going to use it. Don't worry about it." And it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. This is a guy who's been at the club for a good while. I love Eric Dyer. He loves me, and it's just really sad for me. I know people can debate about the levels and stuff, and the players that have come in are doing brilliantly and stuff, but I don't like the idea of him feeling that way. The sort of unwanted, and it's kind of crappy because you don't want those players. And it's a similar thing with Hugo Lloris. Like Hugo Lloris, they did the team photo, and of course he's the third choice keeper now, and he's there, and you can see Sonny as the captain, everyone laughing and joking, and you just see him in the background watching. And it's just a little bit sad
But
that that's how that's
I,
happened.
I, I look, from a sympathy point of view, I completely understand where you're coming from, Sam.
Yeah,
But I know we've had the conversation about, like, especially with Lloris.
yeah,
If it was a case that he's really sad there, and it's not a place he wants to be, I'm sure that if he said to the club, let's just terminate my contract, they'd
yeah.
agree to that. So
Yeah, but why would you
no,
do
but that's
that?
that's what I'm saying to you, Sam. So there's a level of sympathy from the point of view that maybe he doesn't feel like he's part of the squad, but he's
Yeah,
collecting. Let's say for example, I don't know how much he's. Let's for example say it's 150 grand a week. So
yeah,
he's collecting 150 grand a week, right? So
yeah,
from that point of view, like, look, I'm not trying to say, oh, he's really wealthy, so don't feel sorry for him. That's not the point I'm trying to make. It's that he knows he's collecting 150,000 pound a week, so or whatever it is. So from that point of view, he doesn't have to, he can go somewhere else and obviously earn less and feel wanted in a club. So there's a level of sympathy to an extent for me, but I think if he really wanted, if it wasn't, maybe, I don't know, I'm guessing, but if probably money is part of it, because he's got that year and he's earning that, and he's not going to earn that anywhere. He's not going to get a contract like that anywhere
Well,
else.
he could have earned triple his money. You're talking about Lloris. He could have earned triple his money moving to Saudi, but he didn't want to move his
Yeah,
family
no,
there.
of course, yeah, of course, but
I don't know, mate. I always find this topic really uneasy for me because I don't know where the financial element comes in on mental health and stuff. Like, if I earn 100 grand a week, does that mean I'm immune to feeling shit?
yeah, and that's why I'm not. That's why I was trying to. I appreciate I've raised the point of the contract, but that's not.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to say don't feel sorry for him because he earns that. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's that
You're trying to say that it was his choice to
he can
stay.
terminate his contract. He can do that, you know. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the club would go, okay, thank you for all that service. See you later, and he can go and find something somewhere else. Not Saudi Arabia. He could probably go back to France, and he probably would be earning a lot. Like, say for example,
He tried to go back to France and no one wanted him.
do you not think there's a team? There's not one team in that league that would take Hugo Lloris.
Mate, I can only tell you what I read and what I saw, and what I saw was he wanted to be first choice somewhere, and nowhere was willing to
That
give him
doesn't.
that.
That doesn't like. What about even the championship? Like, there surely is a team in the championship where they would bite our arm off to have Lloris as their number one.
Yeah, but who? Yeah, okay.
I see what you're
No,
saying.
I gotta be honest. I don't. Yeah.
And
As soon as money was brought into this, I feel uneasy because I feel like these are two guys who have really worked hard for the club, done loads of stuff, sacrificed, but because they earn good money, fuck them.
no, no,
I just
and yeah,
don't
and
get that.
and that's absolutely not my point at all. I never would. That's it's irrelevant. Like, that, how wealthy they are is irrelevant to the point I'm making.
Yeah,
Definitely doesn't matter how wealthy they are. It's just that I feel like he there is it's Hugo Lloris, World Cup winning captain Hugo Lloris. There's
yeah,
clubs out there that would take him. There are clubs that would take him. I mean, I just that's that. I know that's my opinion, but like, I'm sure it's an opinion shared by many that World Cup winning captain Hugo Lloris could get into most teams at some level in Europe as the first choice goalkeeper.
yeah. Well,
Surely.
he tried all summer to get a move and didn't manage to do it. Eric Dyer had a few options, but he wanted to stay at the club and fight for his place, and the manager said he was happy to do that, but he needed to understand he wouldn't be first choice in the defence. And that
But yeah, but I mean, this is another thing with Eric Dyer again. I love Eric Dyer, you know, and you say, and he's been an amazing servant to the club for what, since 2015, so it's like 8 years. But
yeah,
I feel like with him, and I know, and I don't want to, like, you know, I pointed out in the past that last year, you know, his body language is really off,
yeah,
and like you said, I haven't seen that thing where you know, he says no point videoing me, but
yeah.
I feel like for an elite an elite professional, an elite sportsman, like we especially like, you know, with the cost of living crisis and that. And I'm not trying to bring money into, but I'm just trying to make the point that a lot of us are struggling, you know, at the moment. And this is not me saying that because he's wealthy he should be strong, but what I'm saying is, an elite professional, surely as an elite professional, it's about mentality, isn't it? So, like, if I feel like maybe I don't know what's going on in his personal life, but you just feel like if he could change his mentality to, no, I'm going to get myself back into this first team, you know, and not have the mentality of, I've given up, no, they're not interested in me, you know, it's no point taking pictures of me, and instead, like, you know, and sometimes I understand it, I appreciate you
Well,
can fight.
you've been. I mean, surely you've been
No,
depressed in
no,
your
that's
life.
no, but I know, I'm not. I have a massive level of sympathy for him. I appreciate that, but I wonder, from just from a footballing point of view, from the squad and him in the team, I'm wondering whether like the mentality needs to be, I'm going to get my way back into this team. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to get my way back into it. I feel like sometimes he's got a defeatist attitude, and that's just from what I can take from my own ignorant view of
Right.
what I see of him. You know, I know nothing about any of his personal life or anything, and what demons he's got going on, like a lot of us have. But from just looking at it from purely as a footballing point of view, I just wonder whether his attitude for that is maybe where it needs to change. Do you see what I mean? Like, I feel like he's
I
too
think
defeatist, I think, at the moment.
I think I see the point you're making. I've got to be honest with you, mate. We're at complete odds on this
Yeah,
one. I
sure.
just really like, for me, whatever your profession you're doing and stuff like that, your mental health, and he's been through a lot with his actual health and things that happen. There's a documentary on Spurs Play all about him where he talks about it, and you go through his journey as a player, and you learn about sort of like the stuff he went through the last few seasons. Basically, you only got to put his name on any social media just to see Tottenham fans, his own fans, ripping him apart on a regular basis. He posts anything and people are typing, "Get out of my club, you're shit." And people wonder why he feels a bit defeated, a bit deflated, why he seems depressed, why he's not at a level. It's because the supporters aren't supporting him. No one is. Yeah, okay, we as a team are playing a different type of system, a higher line. He's not suited to that. He knows that. He knows that at the end of this season, when his contract's up, he's leaving. He knows that. But he had the chance to leave where he would have earned good money, go place, but he wanted to stay because he actually quite likes being a Tottenham player. He said it before, bury me at White Hart Lane. I love the place. And yet we're all just like, nah, sod off. And people are doing that to other players as well. You got Oliver Skip, a kid who's come through the academy. Every time he's mentioned, all I read is he's not good enough. Bomb him out. He's championship level at best. People just, social media can be a really vile place, and this idea that they earn loads of money, I can say whatever the hell I like to them, is bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, completely.
Davinson Sanchez earns very good money, but when he got booed by that stadium, that really broke him.
And you know,
there's an interview in Turkey now where he's talked about it for the first time, and I mean, I read that, it was horrible. Imagine having to go through that.
Yeah, I was there, and I think I mentioned it the podcast after the game. I felt like, and it's probably because of my age, I felt like I just wanted to go and give him a cuddle, and I'm like, just ignore him, mate, and so from that point of view, I think it's wrong the way the players are attacked, and that's why I don't want to come across like I'm attacking them, I just feel like from a just a purely supporting Spurs and the club, I just think that for whatever reason they've probably been there too, like they shouldn't be there. Basically, they would be a lot from their own, for their mental health and for their footballing, their careers. Lloris and Dyer just need to be at different clubs. I think that's what it comes down to. They just need to be at different clubs. And I agree that you said about Dyer loving a club, and that's why that song come from. And it's horrible that when he's now getting attacked all the time, and you wonder whether, I mean, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole again, but the way Levy doesn't. You talked about Chelsea with players, if it doesn't work, and Levy just keeps I think he keeps players too long, and I think these are two examples of players that have probably been at the club just as longer than they should have been at the club, I think, of what it comes down to.
Yeah, it's just sad.
Yeah, no,
yeah, there was a time Lloris was linked away and we were all really sad about it, and he stayed because he was loyal. And now people want him gone. And you got Eric Dyer, who was linked away at a point and everyone was upset about it, and he stayed and was loyal, and now people are turned on him. It just...
You look at...
It gets to me.
Yeah, no, I get that. And do you know what?
So they could have gone at different times.
You look...
Like you're saying.
Yeah.
Just... Yeah. Anyway, let's move on, because I think, like I said, we're we could go around in circles on that. Okay, it is time to hand over to people from our social media.
Now it's time for your comments from our social media.
Okay, we have nothing from Instagram this week because absolutely nobody on Instagram likes us. Do you know what? It's actually getting a little bit depressing for me. This is like, listening figures. I know there's so many Tottenham podcasts out there now, but no one likes us anymore.
Oh, they
Matt.
do. Listen, we're every time. Every time I talk to anybody that's to support Spurs, I'll always mention the podcast, and it's something I'm really proud of being involved in, and we've been involved with it for like 5 years now, haven't we?
This is episode 214, 214 episodes.
Exactly. Listen, we're well established, and look, listening figures go up and down. There's trends. People and it's like you say, it's a fashionable thing to do at the moment to set up podcasts, but they're all crash and burn. We're established, mate. We've been going for a long while. We're not quite at the fighting cock level yet, but we'll be there one day, mate.
Not quite. Not quite.
We'll be there one day.
Okay, so John Dyer says, do you expect to see changes to the starting 11 on Friday, given the quick turnaround from the match against Fulham? I personally don't expect to see many changes.
Oh, I think he might start Brennan Johnson. I've got a feeling he'll start Brennan Johnson on Friday.
I have no idea. The Brennan Johnson thing's an interesting one for me, especially. Me and Stefan go over this a lot, because he's not. I think I said to you, is like a lot of people are like, "Oh, what a great signing." To me, it's just been like, I don't see it, and I want, I desperately want to see it. I desperately want to go, "Oh, that's why we paid that money. Yes, bring it on." But I'm like, I don't see it, and so far he's come in, got injured.
Yeah.
And so it was like he said to me, Stefan says like, oh seriously, he's like prime Delhi for us, he's going to be like prime Deli Ali. I said right now he's prime Ryan Sessegnon for us, where he's arrived with all this promise, got injured, and that's it. He's like, oh, that's really harsh. I was like, well, look, all I can base it on is what I've seen so far. He came in, I'm a hamstring, and that's it. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
So I have no idea. Like, I personally wouldn't start him over Richie, Sonny, or Kulusevski right now. But I have no, like, this kid could be amazing, and I'm just like not seeing it yet. So I hope so. I hope when the opportunity is there, the kid grabs it, and I'm like on the podcast next time going, there it is. That's the one everyone told me about.
And all those words on that plate
yeah.
as you're stuffing them in your mouth, might Sam.
Hey, mate, no, I try and stay fairly balanced with stuff. It's like, just because I look at it and go, I don't understand it, don't mean they're crap.
Yeah,
it just means that it's like I don't see it at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't, like, that was a lot of money to throw at a player, and I'm like, okay, we spent that sort of money on different people in the past, and it's not really worked. But like, hey, I watched Tanguy Ndombele play for over a year and thought he was the answer to everything we ever needed. So what the hell do I know?
Do you know what? You need to, that, let's not talk about, I think we should have one about him as well. God, that bloke. He just epitomised, didn't he, the last 2 or 3 years, didn't he, Ndombele?
Just, I mean, he's on loan, and there's an actual quote from his manager saying, I've never had a player who is this unfit and called professional.
Really?
Jesus. Yeah. There's no way they're not sending him back to us.
Where is he at the moment? Is he in Turkey?
He's in Turkey. Yeah. They actually gave his weight out in an interview as like, this is where he should be, and this is where he is. And we tried to work with him, and we set him all his goals and everything, and he's just not. There are certain people who are professional and not at a level, and then there's people who have earned serious money. I almost feel like when his contract with us is done, he's going to retire. I've made my money.
Yep.
Like I got a contract that made me a load of money for life, and that's it. I don't care.
It's like buying a lottery ticket. It's like nothing for it.
Yeah, which is mad. Yeah. Which is like really kind of bizarre, and it's hard to kind of get your head around, but it's what it is. So, John, no, I don't actually see a lot of changes because we play Friday, but then we don't play again till Monday. And that Monday game, by the way, is the one I've been looking forward to the most. It is like, I'm going to be almost North London derby level now for me. It's going to be, we can't lose.
And it's another night. It's a night game as well. So if the atmosphere is anything like it was on Monday, just gone.
Mate, that atmosphere with him coming back is going to be insane, isn't it?
Yep.
It's got to be. It's got to be absolutely bonkers. But anyway, so no, I don't see that. Andrew's very, very about the next game. And with us not in Europe or anything like that, I don't see a lot of changes. The central midfield could be interesting because Sarr came off with a knock. So Basuma's back from suspension. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Basuma and Højbjerg start. And Sarr's perhaps on the bench. It depends on how serious that knock is, of course. Could have just been a precaution, an impact injury, give it a day and he's fine. But
do you know Udogie come off as well, didn't he? Do you know how he is?
Same. We're not going to hear well, we should hear today, actually, thinking about it. As I'm recording this, we might already know. Okay. So depending on when you're listening, there could be really good news or bad news about those players. Dave, because of course Ben Davies is our other sort of left back, and Ben Davies picked up an injury in the training session before the game, so had to pull out of the squad. Right. So in theory, if Udogie's got injured as well, we got no one left sided, which is hilarious when Reguilon's starting for Man United in the Champions League. But that's what it is. Ryan Miller says, when we win the league, how will you both celebrate? Ryan, if we Tottenham win the league this season, I will get a tattoo to commemorate it. That's how I'll celebrate it.
And I'll say exactly what I always say. I'll just strip all my clothes off and run up and down my street screaming like a girl. And that will happen.
Actual question from Ryan is, based on the good start we have had so far, do you think Levy will do much January transfer business? No.
Yeah, let's not get carried away.
I think what'll happen is, look, you're doing amazing. You don't need anyone else. What do I need to spend money for? Your squad's clearly the best in the league. Yay! That's how his mind works. Tom Perk says, how concerned should we be that Basuma and Sarr will be off to the African Cup of Nations? They are very big boots to fill. How many games are they likely to miss? This is actually, yeah, Tom, this is something that's playing on my mind, and it is something that the January window for me is where we need to add someone in that midfield, because Højbjerg is still desperate to leave, and there are 3 clubs in Italy now basically circling to take him on loan in January with a permanent transfer in the summer. And he is pushing hard. He's changed his agent because he was so angry with his last agent he didn't get the move he wanted in the summer. And the new agent has strong links to Italy. Hence now he's clearly picked someone to help him get this move. Jose Mourinho, whether he's still at the club, he's desperate to bring him in, and Eric Dyer, by the way, apparently. But also Juventus now have basically publicly said he's on their list. So it is interesting that he could be off. Basuma and Sarr with the AFCON. Bentancur's returning, but none of us have any idea what his level's going to be until he gets back playing.
Did you see that clip they posted?
Yeah,
that was ridiculous.
That was a ridiculous finish. But an injury like that. I mean, I hope with everything I have, he comes back and is still the same player.
He's better.
Because if he is under Ange, brilliant. You know, that guy just going to suit. He's going to love it. He's going to absolutely love life in that Ange system because his transition was the only thing that was positive under Conte.
Yeah.
His ability to arrive in the box and grab a goal, and his transitional play was the only thing that made us tick at one point. And when we lost him, it all went to shit.
Yeah, that's right. We basically was surviving on Harry Kane scoring loads of goals and Bentancur scoring last-minute winners.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that was it. That was how we were still in any sort of game. So we got him returning. Skip, despite what many fans think, I think is a good level, and with games will do a very good job. Sarr's energy is phenomenal. His box to box is so good. How long will they be gone? Senegal won it last time, so Sarr will probably be gone for the entire tournament. Basuma, maybe not quite so long, but we are still going to lose him for a good period of games. It's difficult. For me in January, I would be looking at that as an area where a central defender, if one is available, who can play in the high line, who can add something, would definitely be on my shopping list. And then a midfielder who could fill the similar sort of role as Basuma would also be on my shopping list. Despite our club's affiliation with transfer window, let's buy a winger. Despite that being like our go-to for every transfer window, I really don't think we need to sign one.
Yeah.
like we don't need another attacking player. Like, look, we are scoring goals well. Okay. Unless something ridiculous is available, you're not going to say no, but it is like, no, we got enough there. Let's focus on where we need it. And if we just made 2 signings, and those 2 signings were a central defender who's a level up on our squad option, and a central midfielder who replaces Højbjerg, and is a level up again for Ange's system, then I'd be very, very happy. Yeah. It actually happening though seems very unrealistic.
I know, but do you know? I know we've spoken about it before, but this, and I know there's an article come out in regards to what Kulusevski said about the fact that we've got no European football this season.
Yeah,
but it is making a massive difference. I think he said, and for anyone that hasn't read it, he said that the fact that instead of playing 3 games a week, he said they got quite tired. He said even in warm-ups he was quite tired because they were playing 3 games a week essentially. Whereas now it's just 1 a week. And also he mentioned the fact that we were travelling to places like Italy and Spain, whereas now he's at home all the time, and that's made a massive difference. But it's all about injuries. If we can stay fairly injury-free, which is more likely when you're playing less games, isn't it? The more games you play, the more chance. Then we really this season we probably don't need to add much because we're not managing loads of games. We're out of the Carabao Cup, so really all we do have is the league and the FA Cup. If we get knocked out the FA Cup in the third round, then we just literally just got league games.
Whoa! FA Cup, we're going to win it this year. We did.
But I'm just trying to make the point that the games are so more spread out. That, look, don't get me wrong. I want us to get back in. I'm hoping we qualify at least for the Champions League. You know, when we win the title, we'll qualify, obviously. But this season, let's just make the most of it. And probably this season we don't like. You know, I agree with you. Attacking wise, we're fine. Probably, like you say, we need to strengthen slightly in the defensive side. But barring injuries, yeah, I don't think we need to make many moves in the transfer window.
Yeah. Okay. Last one is from Stefan himself, the super sub. He says Vicario, Udogi, Romero, Van de Ven, Pedro Porro versus... right, so he's our current back five, keeper and back four, versus Hugo, Rose, Jan, Toby and Walker in their prime. Who do you pick? Ooh.
See, this is where sentiment comes into it, Sam, isn't it? Who would you go for?
It's an interesting one because Pochettino's system, if you had Pochettino as the manager, you'd go with the Hugo backs because they were built for that system. You know, the fullbacks are your width. They stay wide. They bomb up and down all day long. And Rose and Walker did that for days. You know, they could do that all day. Porro and Udogi possibly could do that, but I've never seen them in that way. So, but under Ange, there's no contest because Vicario's ability at distribution is on another level than Hugo, even in his prime.
Yeah.
Love you, Hugo, but mate. Romero, for me, is a better defender than either Jan or Toby, and I can't believe I just said that, which feels like painful, but it's true. And Van de Ven, his pace, like you said, is Kyle Walker level. And yet he's a central defender and he's the size of a friggin' tree.
Exactly, it doesn't make sense.
And it's like you play a high line and you have a defender who can do that. You're a keeper, because it's funny as well because a lot of people were like in pre-season, oh, Vicario's coming out too much, he's doing this. He now doesn't need to do it to the level he did because he knows Van de Ven's got it.
Yeah,
It's like the ball over the top, the guy's running in, Van de Ven out of nowhere has got the bloke running into the corner or tackled him or as, you know, at least slowed play to get everybody back. He does, in doing that, he has enabled them to look more solid. So I'd go with our current ones simply because I think under the current manager, the current system, they are suited to it. And I think with Van der Ven's pace to get to cover in behind and Vicario's distribution, those make them the better option than our previous back five.
Yeah, no, I agree, and you know what, you know, Hugo Lloris, just one of the best, you know. But like you said, his distribution was never, even in his prime,
never good.
wasn't great, and that's something because. You know, with Vicario especially, like, you know, he's I speak to Seb because, like, you know, Seb's a goalie for his team, and I say to him, you've really got to watch this guy because he just really exudes confidence. He's like a ball of energy the whole time, and you don't expect goalkeepers to be like that because, you know, in effect, you kind of imagine them just as a stationary last line of defence, you know, but he's just there, and like, you know, you see it like whenever he goes off for a goal kick or he collects it, instantly he's got it. He's looking around. He's like just this insane ball of energy, and it works so well in the system.
He made a great save against Fulham, and then there was a corner, and then he claimed the ball, caught it, and ran and rolled it out.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah,
and there was, and I was just like, that is the difference. That is the level, and this is why you signed him, because he is not just a goalkeeper with a level of being able to make the saves like Lloris did, but his actual game awareness of like, no, let's get going. You know, he is almost setting the tone of we don't stop, which is the manager's whole thing.
Yeah, and when it starts from the back.
And he's kind of setting the tone, which is great. So thank you to everybody. That was all the questions for this week. Only 4 because no one loves us.
They do, Sam. It's just a quiet time of year. That's all.
Hurt. Yeah, no. Oh, yeah, we're top of the league. No one wants to talk about Tottenham right now. Oh, wait, everybody does. but no one wants to talk to us.
They
man.
love
It's
us.
very
Pack
sad.
it in.
It's very sad. No, it's dark days for me. It's very hurtful. Crystal Palace Friday night is my idea of hell. I've talked about this many a time every season. I want to play them on a nice lunchtime kickoff where their fans are still subdued. Friday night at Selhurst Park. The way I look at it is we have to embrace it. Like, we as a team, as a group, need to embrace that this atmosphere is going to be special.
Yeah.
And we need to go there and play our game, because the one thing that atmosphere does do is that Crystal Palace play because of it. It's like Crystal Palace at home are not going to dig in because their fans are going to be it's going to be a game. I hope that we've got a fully fit team to pick from, because I feel that if we do, then we go there with a very good chance of picking up a win.
5 points clear.
The madness is that if we do that, we do achieve a win, then we are 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League, which means that we'll go another weekend top, which is just hilarious.
Enjoy it.
Because it is winding. Yeah, I'm enjoying it, but I'm enjoying the fact it's pissing people off so much. It's like, I don't understand why it annoys people quite so much, but it really does.
I told you, Sam, and it's what I said last week, it's because people we're not in our place. Tottenham aren't meant to be here, and it's upsetting them because we don't know our place at the moment, do we?
I did get sent a meme the other day, which a lot of people know I'm a rugby fan, and England rugby made it to the World Cup semi-final, and England rugby have been very, very poor for a couple of years. They had no right to get into that semi-final. They were
Nearly
not.
won it.
It was mental, by the way, absolutely mental. They played very well in the semi-final, but up to that point, it's like, oh, how did they get there? And I got sent a meme, and it had a horse stuck in a fence, a car wedged like sideways in a tunnel, England rugby semi-finalists, Tottenham top of the league, and he said these are all things that got places that no one can explain how.
Like elephant up the tree, and it is.
I was like, oh, I mean, it's funny, but that was very aimed at me. Someone literally made that to send me. When people are creating memes to send you. It's like, oh, really? Do I deserve that? Probably. I probably deserve it. Okay, so the last thing on the podcast this week is a new feature. We talked about it before as a bit of fun, and that is this new feature right here. Fans of the Spurs News Podcast, it's time for Seb's Season Update with his dad, Matt. Take it away, Matt.
I love that. Right, so if anyone doesn't know, Seb has been desperate to get into a football club for years and years. He was a part of a football club when he was about 7, and he just got a bit bored, I think, and left. And for the last 2 or 3 years, he's just been desperate to get in. And for anyone that's got kids that's listening, will know how difficult it is to get kids into grassroots football, especially as they get older. It's easier when they're young. 5, 6, 7, and they sort of find their way into a level of grassroots. But when you're Seb's age and you're 11 and you want to get back into it, it's really difficult. But anyway, he managed to get himself into a local club as a goalkeeper, and fantastic. That it was a trial of 3 kids, and they were brilliant, the other 2, but. So I think with Seb, he was just very vocal, very confident, and the coaches just like that, and he's slotted into the team fantastically. Unfortunately for poor Seb, the results haven't gone their way at the moment. He's getting a bit of a sore back, our Seb, I think, at the moment. No. I mean, he's been on the back of 8-0 drubbing, a 7-0 drubbing, and what was he, 11-1 drubbing. Saturday just gone. I thought it was a 7-0 drubbing, but when I went onto the app, it was actually a 6-0. So it wasn't that.
You lost track.
Yeah, I lost track of the amount of goals that were in.
Oh, wow.
And I keep saying to Seb, mate, look, you're losing by a lot, right? But don't blame yourself because your team's not winning. So your team's not scoring goals. So if you'd lost 7-6 or 6-5, for example, I'll go, or maybe we
Yeah.
need to sort of work on some things. But your team's not scoring any goals, and he's got man of the match. I mean, bearing in mind how much they've been losing by, he's had man of the match a couple of times. On one occasion, by the opposite, he got opposition man of the match. So they must have just felt sorry for him, I think. But I wanted to focus on the game a couple of weeks ago, and so bearing in mind how badly the team's been playing, and it's not for want of trying. But they played this local team, and it was an away game, and I don't think it really makes much of a difference at his level, with your home and away. But they went 1-0 down, as they usually do. But you saw something in the team, and they equalised in the second half. They played 30 minutes, so 9-a-side, 30 minutes a half at his level, and the second half's kicked off, and they've scored a goal, his team, to make it 1-1. And then the referee has given this most outrageous penalty. Now, I was running the line, right? I volunteered to run the line. I've never done it before. And I was waving my flag, like, ref, that was the penalty. I'm trying to come across unbiased, but there was nothing in that at all. Anyway, referee, that's a penalty. Seb's not faced a penalty yet. And honestly, I was just, like, I had a fantastic position from where I was. He saved it.
Hey.
Yeah. Anyway, he's booted it up. Team scored, made it 2-1. I was like, this is meant to be, right? Anyway,
Roy of the Rovers.
It was Roy of the Rovers, Sam. They've equalised, unfortunately, to make it 2-2. Seb has pulled off, and I'm going to be biased. I'm his dad, Sam, but unfortunately, our teams kind of play a bit of a high line, so he gets left on his own sometimes. Well, say sometimes, quite a lot. But he's pulled off this fantastic. He's rushed off his line, Vicario-esque, and pulled off a cracking save. Last minute of the game, our team score, make it 3-2. It was fantastic. He was on the ceiling, honestly, for the whole weekend. Like, absolute legend. Like, and people on Facebook are saying, Sam, what a great save. So it was brilliant for him. But unfortunately, at the moment, it's a bit of a one-off. But I'm hoping.
Well, that's fine. It's a team. He's joined the team. They'll be all right.
They'll be all right. I keep having to say to myself, it's grassroots. They're enjoying themselves. They're getting a bit of a run out. It's not gonna affect the world if they lose or win. But there is a part of me that wants them to start winning again.
Bless.
I'm hoping next week I'll give you an update of a great result.
Yes, we will continue with the Seb season updates. We'll stay abreast of that. So yeah, that is it. That's all we have time for this week. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who is listening. A special thank you to everyone who does keep interacting with us. It's very nice to know we're not just talking to ourselves. We will be back next week when we talk about the Palace game and look ahead to the fixture I've been dreading / looking forward to the most, and that's the return of Lemon Boy to the new White Hart Lane.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it? It's going to be really interesting, the reaction he gets.
Where
do you think he's going? I'm going to be there. I don't know what to do.
I have very mixed feelings on this. I have very, very warm, happy memories due to him and the work him and his team did. But he went to Chelsea.
What did he do that for?
He's dead to me. So it's kind of like you dated someone, you got on really well, you separated, it was heartbreaking, you've been kind of looking at each other for a while, and then she starts shagging your mate and expects you to be okay with it. No, it's not. It's not okay.
While you're in the room, he's looking at you as well.
No, okay. We just stepped over the line again. Thank you everybody for listening. We'll be back next week.
Thank you for listening to the Spurs News Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Stay up to date with all things Tottenham. Follow us on social media. All links are in the podcast description.